Of all your senses, there is one you trust without a shadow of a doubt. Your eyes. You believe that when you look at the world, you see it, fully, faithfully, all of it at once, exactly as it is. Your eyes feel like a window, open, clear, showing you everything in front of you the moment you turn to look. It is the one witness in your life you would never think to doubt. And it is lying to you, not about the details, about how much you see at all, because your eyes are not a window. They are a keyhole, a tiny bright circle, and around it your mind paints a vast, seamless, convincing picture of a whole room you cannot actually see, and it never once tells you it is painting. Right now, you feel like you are seeing this whole scene, in rich detail, edge to edge. You are not. You are seeing a patch of sharpness, no bigger than a thumbnail held at arm's length, and a rumor, a guess, of everything else. And the most unsettling experiments in all of psychology can take that invisible fact and make it visible, can prove to you in seconds that you are walking through the world half-blind, and never knew. This is inattentional blindness, the simple, staggering truth at the heart of how you see. You do not see what you do not attend to, and you have no idea at all how much you are missing. Because attention is not a floodlight. It does not fill the room. It is a spotlight, a narrow, movable beam, and wherever it points, you see with startling clarity, sharp, vivid, certain. It feels like the whole world. But everything outside that beam is not dim. It is not blurry. It is gone, not darkened, absent, unprocessed, unseen, as if it never happened at all. A whole world could walk past the edge of your beam, and for you, it would simply not exist. And this is the part that breaks the intuition. You can be looking directly at a thing, your eyes open, pointed right at it, the light of it landing clean on your retina, and still not see it. Because your eyes are not the same as your seeing. The eyes point, but attention is what actually looks. And here is the cruelest turn, the one we will build to. You are not only blind to what sits outside the beam, you are blind to the blindness itself. The picture always feels complete, which is exactly why you will swear, right up until the second you are shown otherwise, that you would never miss something big, obvious, right in front of your face.
So let me prove it to you,
with the most famous demonstration of this ever filmed. Two teams, one in white, one in black, weaving around each other, passing basketballs back and forth. And your task is simple. Count the passes made by the team in white, only the white. It takes real focus. The players cross. The black team weaves through, trying to throw your count. You lock in. You concentrate. You do not want to lose the number. And while you are counting, something walks into the middle of the screen. A person in a full gorilla suit walks to the very center, stops, turns to face you, beats its chest with both fists, and strolls calmly off the other side. It is on screen for a full 9 seconds, enormous, dark, dead center, impossible to miss. Except it is not, because when the researchers ran this, with hundreds of people counting those passes, roughly half of them did not see it at all. Half. A gorilla beating its chest in the center of the screen, and 1 in 2 people were utterly blind to it. And they were not distracted. They were not bad at the task. Many counted the passes perfectly. Their attention was working beautifully. That was the whole problem. The spotlight was locked so tight on the white team that a gorilla fell clean into the dark. But here is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. It is not the missing, it is what happens next. When you show those people the video again, they do not say, "Oh, how did I miss that?" They say, "That is not the same video. You switched it. There was no gorilla the first time." Their certainty is total. They would swear on anything that no gorilla crossed that screen, because in their experience, none did. The mind did not register a gap and quietly fill it. It felt no gap at all. The blindness left no shadow, no hole, nothing to notice. And the two scientists who ran this gave the deeper lesson a name. Not the illusion of the gorilla, the illusion of attention. The deep, false belief that we see the world around us far better than we actually do. That if something important happened right in front of us, we would of course notice. We would not. So why? Why would evolution build an eye this magnificent and then let you see so little? And the answer is not a flaw. It is a necessity. The world pouring into your eyes every second is an ocean. Far more than any brain could ever fully process. If you tried to truly see everything with equal depth, you would drown, frozen, overwhelmed, unable to act. So the brain made a brutal trade. It spends its tiny budget of full attention on the one or two things that matter right now, and everything else it lets go into a rough, cheap, unwatched blur. And this is the deal you can never escape. Focus is not free. Every ounce of sharp attention you spend on this is bought with blindness to that. The tighter you focus, the more the world around the focus vanishes. The gorilla is not the price of failing, it is the price of concentrating. And it forces apart two things you have always believed were one: looking and seeing. Your eyes can point at something perfectly, the image can land flawless on the retina, and it can still never reach you. Because seeing does not happen in the eye, it happens in the attention behind it. And if the attention is elsewhere, the eye is just a camera with no one watching the feed. You have lived this 1,000 times. The keys on the table, you searched 3 times. The friend in the crowd, you stared straight through. The word on the page, your eyes passed over 5 times and never read. You were looking. You were simply not there. Now you might be telling yourself, a comforting thing, that this happens to distracted amateurs, counting passes in a silly video, not to experts, not to trained eyes doing serious work. So let me take you from the basketball court to a place where this is a matter of life and death. A team of researchers went to radiologists, doctors who spend their lives hunting tiny flaws in medical scans, trained for years to spot a nodule the size of a grain of rice, hidden in the grey clouds of a lung, the finest visual searchers we have. And into the last scan they gave them, the researchers hid a small surprise: the image of a gorilla, not tiny, nearly 50 times larger than the nodules they were hunting for, shaking its fist, utterly out of place, impossible for a careful eye to miss. More than 8 in 10 of them did not see it, 83%, expert doctors, looking hard at the exact image where it sat, and their spotlight was so locked on nodules that a fist-shaking gorilla simply never arrived. And they tracked the doctor's eyes. This is the part that chills. Most of the ones who missed it had looked directly at the gorilla. Their gaze landed right on it. The light hit their eyes, and still nothing. Looking is not seeing, even when a life depends on it. And lest you think it was only a cartoon gorilla, they ran a crueler version. A real, a large, a genuinely dangerous mass, placed in a scan while doctors hunted for a different kind of flaw. 2 in 3 sailed right past it. But when simply asked to look for it, almost everyone found it at once. The mass was always visible. The seeing was not. And you meet this on the road, every day, in a phrase that accident investigators know too well. Looked, but failed to see. The driver who stares straight at the oncoming motorcycle and pulls out anyway. Not lying, not careless. Their eyes were aimed right at it. But their spotlight was tuned for cars, and a motorcycle fell into the dark. So you miss what you do not attend to. But surely, you think, I hold a solid picture of the world in my head. A stable one, a rich, detailed model that stays put while I glance away. And here, the researchers have one more shock for you. You do not. Picture a simple scene. A stranger stops you on the street with a map, asks you for directions. You begin to help. An ordinary human moment. You are looking right at their face, talking to them, fully engaged. And then, mid-conversation, two workers rudely carry a large door straight between you. For 1 second, the stranger is hidden from view. And in that second, behind the door, they swap the stranger for a completely different person. Different face, different height, different clothes and voice. The door moves on. A new human being is now standing where the old one was, and the conversation simply carries on. Because roughly half of people do not notice, they keep giving directions to a stranger who is not the stranger they started with. A whole different person, and no alarm, no flicker of weight, because they never truly stored the first face. Why would they? It was right there, always available to glance at again. The brain does not waste effort memorizing a world that is sitting right in front of it. It keeps only the gist. A stranger asking directions, and rechecks the detail only if it ever needs it. And that is how you actually move through your day, not holding a complete picture, holding a thin sketch and an assumption. The assumption that the world is stable, that what you saw a moment ago is still there, unchanged. Usually it is, and so you never catch the times it quietly is not. So step back now and feel the full size of it. Right now, you feel surrounded by a world in crisp, complete detail. Everywhere you are not looking feels just as real, just as sharp as the center. It is not. Only a tiny patch at the very center of your gaze is truly sharp. Everything else falls off fast into a vague, colorless smear. You do not believe that because it never feels that way. And there is a reason. Every time you flick your eyes to check a spot, it snaps into sharpness instantly. So it seems as if it was always sharp. The fridge light that is always on whenever you open the door. You never catch the world being blurry because the act of checking is what makes it clear. Scientists call this the grand illusion, the overwhelming sense that you hold a rich, complete, high-resolution world in your mind, when what you actually hold is a sharp dot, a blurred surround, and a vast, confident assumption that fills in all the rest. You are not watching the world. You are watching a model of it, painted mostly from memory and guess. And there is an entire art built on knowing this, on steering your spotlight like a puppet. The magician. A magician does not fool your eyes. Your eyes see everything. He fools your attention. He tells you softly where to point the beam, and does the secret move in the wide, dark space you have left unwatched. The flourish of the right hand is not hiding anything. It is a spotlight he is handing you. Look here, it says, and you obey. And the left hand, in full view, in perfect light, does the thing you would swear never happened. Every magic trick you have ever gasped at was performed inside your own blindness. So bring it all together and feel where it leaves you. You see a fraction of what is there. You hold almost none of it in mind. You fill the rest with assumption, and you cannot feel any of this happening. And that last piece is the one that turns a curiosity into something profound. You are not only blind, you are blind to the blindness. There is no gap in your experience, no static, no dark edges on the picture. It feels seamless, total, complete. The missing leaves no trace. And of course it does, because the part of you that would notice the gap is the very part that is missing. You cannot see the whole with the same eye that has the hole in it. And so the illusion of a full, clear world is perfect, airtight, unbreakable from the inside. So hear this, as plainly as it can be said. You do not see the world. You see the sliver your attention paid for, and your mind sells you the rest as if you had seen it all. And this should change how you hold one small word. Obvious. How could you miss it? It was obvious. But obvious only means it was inside someone's beam. Two people standing side by side do not see the same scene. They see two different slivers, and each is certain theirs was the whole of it. So what do you do with this? And the first thing is to accept what you cannot do. You cannot simply widen the beam. You cannot will yourself to see everything at once. The narrowness is not a bug you can fix. It is the price of a mind that can focus at all. The same spotlight that lets you read one face in a crowd lets the crowd dissolve. The gift and the blindness are the same thing. So the goal was never to see all of it. You can't. The goal is to change your relationship with the beam, and that begins with a single act of humility. Stop treating the feeling of certainty as proof that you saw, because you now know the deepest trick. The picture always feels complete, even when half of it is missing. So the sentence, "I know what I saw," carries far less weight than it feels like it should. You know what you attended to. The rest, your mind filled in. And this should make you gentler with the person who swears they saw it differently. They are not always lying. They stood where you stood, and their beam fell somewhere else. And they walked away with a different world. Both of you honest, both of you partial, neither of you holding the whole. And there is one practical habit that helps. Learn to look for what you are not looking for. The radiologist hunting only nodules misses the gorilla. The driver hunting only cars misses the bike. Every now and then, loosen the beam. Ask not, is the thing I expect here, but what is here that I did not expect? It is the only way to catch the gorilla before it matters. And then the deepest turn of all. Because if your attention decides what you see, then your attention decides the world you live in. Point it at every slight, and you live in a world of slights. Point it at every small mercy, and the same street, the same day, becomes a different place. You are not just missing a gorilla. You are choosing every hour which world to walk through. You came here trusting your eyes completely, sure that to look was to see. Leave knowing that you move through a world you mostly infer, lit only where you point. That the confident, complete picture in your mind is a beautiful, necessary illusion. And that the one power you truly have is not to see it all, but to choose with care where the small bright circle of your attention falls. Because that narrow beam is not just how you see your life, it is where you live it. See what people hide, even from themselves.